Hey everyone, it's Justin again. In this video, we're going to be learning how to convert equations in slope-intercept and point-slope form into standard form. At this point, we've learned about the three major forms for linear equations: slope-intercept form, point-slope form, and standard form. But these are just three different ways of expressing the same thing, any particular line on a graph. And since they're all the same, that means there's a way to convert from one to the other. In this video, we're going to focus on converting the other two forms into standard form. So let's review the important rules for writing an equation in standard form. First rule is the main goal for writing an equation in standard form is getting x and y to the same side and constants to the other. Then a, b, and c all have to be integers. If they're not, we're going to have to find a way to fix that. And finally, a cannot be negative, but as you'll see in one of the examples, that's a very easy fix. So let's start with an easy one. Y equals -1/2 x minus 4. This is in slope-intercept form, but we want to change it into standard form. We can use the rules for standard form to guide us there. First, x and y have to be on the same side. In this case, that's easy. We'll just add 1/2 to both sides. Now our x and y are on the left side and the constant -4 is on the right side. Next, we need to make sure that a, b, and c are all integers, but 1/2 breaks the rule. Do you remember what we did in the last video to fix this issue? We just multiply the entire equation by the denominator of the fraction. 2 times 1/2 is 1. 2 times the y's invisible 1 is 2. And 2 times -4 is -8. Now, a, b, and c are all integers. And as an added bonus, a is already non-negative. We've satisfied all the rules and successfully rewritten a slope-intercept form equation into standard form. Now that we've got the basic process down, let's do a harder one. This time, we're trying to change point-slope form into standard form. First, we want to move the x to the left side, but it's trapped inside the parentheses. So before we do anything else, we need to distribute that 3. There we go, much better. Now we can subtract 3x to get it onto the left side. Rule 1 is complete. X and y are on the same side of the equation. Our next step is to get all constants to the right side, which means we need to move that 5 over by adding 5. Now all of our constants are on the opposite side from x and y. We can go ahead and check off the next rule because all the values are already integers here. But the final rule says that a is not allowed to be negative. The way to fix this is similar to how we fix fractions. We just multiply everything by a -1 because a negative times a negative is a positive. This did also change anything positive into a negative, but that's fine as long as the x has a positive coefficient. So we've now satisfied all the rules for a standard form equation. Any linear equation can be written in standard form, even ones that don't start in a recognizable form. This equation is not in slope-intercept or point-slope form, but that won't stop us from following the rules and putting it in standard form. First, to get x and y on the same side, we can subtract 2/3 x. Then we need to move that constant 2 to the right side by adding 2 to both sides. Here's where it gets a little tricky. We need to fix 2 different fractions with different denominators. The best advice is to just focus on one at a time. To turn 2/3 into an integer, we can multiply everything by 3. That will leave just -2 on the x. 3 times 1/2 is 3/2, and -3 on the right side. Now, to correct the fraction 3/2, we multiply by 2, which will give us this. After a bit of work, we finally got all the coefficients to be integers. The last thing left to do is change the x's coefficient to a positive by flipping all the signs in the equation. This is the standard, easy to graph form of the original equation that wasn't in any particular form to start with. Changing equations into standard form is easy, as long as you remember the rules that standard form has to follow. In the next few lessons, we'll be finishing out this unit by looking at all three forms of linear equations side by side to compare and contrast the different ways they can be used interchangeably.